They're commonly asked by parents about when their child can start to exercise or get into the weight room, or maybe they're concerned that what their child is doing, strength training or in training in general, isn't safe or maybe age appropriate. And I love the train of thought. I love that people are thinking along those lines because I think it's really important for kids to spend time in those environments just to develop a positive lifelong relationship with exercise. Now, with that being said, of course, you want to make sure what's being done is appropriate. But one of the things I also want to dispel while we're here is just that myth, more or less, that strength training or lifting weights, for example, stunts growth. There's really not a lot of evidence to support that. And if we think about it, a lot of the forces that your child, your athlete generates when they're sprinting, when they're, say they're just playing and they're jumping off a tree, as an example, jumping off a tree branch like I used to do when I was a kid, the force that they're landing with far exceeds anything that a smart trainer would do in the weight room. So we can dispel that myth because nothing they're going to do with a child of that age is going to be intense enough to facilitate any problems. Now, of course, we got to use common sense, and we're not going to take a 10-year-old into the weight room and throw the heaviest bar imaginable on top of them. That would be crazy. But as long as we're exercising that common sense and creating an environment that encourages them to show up consistently, we're doing our job. Now, any strength training or training environment for anybody who is, let's say, pre-puberty, so let's say 9 to 12, should be focusing on a few things. It should be focusing on, of course, teaching the fundamentals, perfect form, proper technique, and just teaching them how to self-organize their body, because that's going to carry over to their sports and activities moving forward. And remember, it's not just weightlifting. It's teaching the movement skills, proper running technique, agility work, mobility work, drills to help mitigate injuries moving forward and improve their work capacity to help them succeed in their sport. And the good news when it comes to these sorts of sessions are that it's really hard to mess up. You don't need necessarily the best trainer in the world. We need someone who understands that the process is trial and error. It is putting these athletes, these children, in positions where they can safely fail and learn from that and then be able to perform whatever the movement or whatever the task is better next time, which then will help them as they continue to move forward and grow and figure out how to move their bodies in space. And the most important thing, as I mentioned previously, is consistency. Consistently getting in, and when we say that, it could be once, twice a week. We don't need to have a heavy training season where somebody's coming 5 days a week and then in season they stop. We'd much rather it be 1 or 2 times a week consistently, but the sessions have to be fun so that the athlete, the child, wants to show up. And at that age, that's where we gamify a lot of things, make it much more playful. I think of when I have to give my 3 dogs their pills. Of course, each of them has their own little regimen. I have to put it inside a little bit of turkey to hide it and have them take their medicine but not even know it. It's the same thing here. And at that age, again, we're developing that positive relationship, have them wanting to come back. So then when they get older, and we can make things a little bit more intense and a little bit more scientifically specific to their needs, well, now they already enjoy coming there. We see huge improvements as they grow, especially in their later years in high school. And then oftentimes if these athletes go off to go to college and play there, then they are steps ahead of their teammates, as we see with many of the athletes that we've luckily enough had a chance to be able to work with from when they were young kids all the way to now when they're in college. So if you are the parent of an athlete and you're looking to have them get started with building the fundamentals of what it is to train and get in the weight room in those sorts of environment, contact us. We'd be honored to help.